Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Agger7588, and I'm here today with my predictions, an early predictions video for what I believe the WrestleMania 27 card will look like. So it's the 14th of February, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody! And I'm going to predict today what I think WWE will go with at WrestleMania. Okay, so here it goes. I'll start from the bottom up and leave the main events to the last. Starting things off at WrestleMania, I think we will have a singles match, and I think the singles match will be Rey Mysterio versus Cody Rhodes. I think these two are having a good feud in SmackDown. It's good the way they're playing off the dashing image that Cody no longer has now that he's got a broken nose, and I think that this is Cody's chance to really rise to the top. Mysterio handpicking him for a feud was probably the best thing. Probably the best thing that's happened in his career at the moment. He's going to get a singles match at WrestleMania. I know he's been involved in main events before while being part of Legacy, but I think this is his chance now to really step it up a gear and to take things to the next level with Mysterio at WrestleMania. The next match will be the Money in the Bank ladder match, and I've went for 10 people like they had done previously in Money in the Bank. I preferred it when it was 6. I thought 10 was an absolute clusterfuck, but I think they're going to go with it again just for a payday for a lot of the people. And I think in that match there will be the two champions, which are Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan. I think they'll both be in the match, along with Drew McIntyre, Kane, Mark Henry, Wade Barrett, R-Truth, Dolph Ziggler. I think Christian will come back and be in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and Jack Swagger as well. I was between Jack Swagger and Evan Bourne, but I don't think Bourne will be back in time, so yeah, I went with Jack Swagger. So Money in the Bank: McIntyre, Kingston, Bryan, Kane, Christian, Henry, Wade Barrett, R-Truth, Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger. So 10 people in the Money in the Bank, and fingers crossed that finally they give it to Christian and he cashes in that night and beats Edge. Well, more on that in a minute. The next match I think that'll happen is a match that finally at WrestleMania involves Jerry Lawler, and I think that Lawler's opponent will be none other than Michael Cole. I think that Michael Cole will somehow cost Jerry Lawler the WWE Championship again, whether he wins it at Elimination Chamber and loses it the next night, or he costs him at Elimination Chamber. I think Cole will have something to do with it. I know they've been preparing him, they've been letting him take bumps at FCW and stuff, and he's been working referees. He's been refereeing dark matches or at live events and taking a few bumps at them. I think they'll either go the road of that, Lawler versus Cole, or they'll have Jerry Lawler versus Alex Riley, with Michael Cole as a special guest referee, and finally give Jerry Lawler his match on at a WrestleMania stage. Then unfortunately we have to throw in the Divas match, so I think that Divas match will be Natalya. I think she'll win back the women's title, or Divas title, sorry, and she'll defend against Beth Phoenix. I think that's the real only match that anyone wants to see. If you even want to see a women's match, that's probably the match that you want to see. Probably the only two that can really wrestle at the moment. I'd love to see Awesome Kong involved in that somehow, but I think they're going to keep her debut to after WrestleMania, because that's usually the time of the year where new people start to debut. So I think Phoenix versus Natalya at WrestleMania. The next match is a match that won't really surprise anybody. I think it's pretty obvious that this is going to happen, and it's CM Punk versus Randy Orton. Yeah, I think Orton and Punk will definitely have a Mania match. They've been playing it off now for a couple of weeks. The segment on Raw where Orton headbutted CM Punk when Nexus were holding him, it was brilliant. The blood made it so much more realistic and so much better. Really worked well, and I think them two will go into WrestleMania and pull off a good match. The next match is a rematch, a WrestleMania rematch, and a WrestleMania rematch from last year, as a matter of fact. And I think it'll be Sheamus versus the returning King of Kings, Triple H. I think he'll return around the Elimination Chamber, and he'll cost Sheamus he'll either cost Sheamus his place in the Elimination Chamber, or the next night in Raw he'll return and absolutely annihilate Sheamus, and that'll lead into a match at WrestleMania. Hopefully, with Triple H getting the win and going on for one last push in the main event scene, and then that'll do him. He'll hang up the boots and move on the backstage role within the WWE. My next match will be the world title, which I think Edge will retain or win, whatever happens with Dolph Ziggler on SmackDown, whether he's the champion or not. I think Edge will walk out of Elimination Chamber with the world title, and he'll go on to face Alberto Del Rio at WrestleMania. And as I said earlier, I'm hopefully Christian will win Money in the Bank. Edge will retain the world title against Alberto Del Rio, and then Christian's music will hit, and he'll come out and he'll take the title off Edge, and they'll finally have the feud that everybody wants to see. Edge versus Christian before Edge retires. That would just be unbelievable, unreal. Two of my favourite wrestlers of all time, just one massive feud before Edge goes, because 2011 looks like his last year. My next match, basically we have to start at the Elimination Chamber for this one. Everybody, in my opinion, is thinking that John Cena is going to win the Raw Elimination Chamber. I, however, don't. If you notice with Money in the Bank, one name that was missing, and one name that's been missing the whole way through this, is John Morrison. I think that WWE is going to pull a swerve, and John Morrison will win the number one contender Elimination Chamber and go on to WrestleMania to face The Miz for the WWE title. What was it? Is it a Falls Count Anywhere match on Raw? Was outstanding. It was unbelievable, and if they can pull off a match at WrestleMania, they'll pull off a 4-star match without a shadow of a doubt. Them two have the chemistry to pull off a match that is epic, and hopefully they'll be able to get that chance at WrestleMania when John Morrison takes on The Miz for the WWE title. And then the last match, the main event of the night, will be John Cena one-on-one trying to beat the Streak versus The Undertaker. It has to happen at some WrestleMania. Taker's probably only got this WrestleMania left. Realistically, next year it's starting to get ridiculous. The man is walking on thin ice. He is battered, he is bruised, he won't be able to go on for much longer, and Cena and Taker has to happen at WrestleMania. So why not have it happen this year? Have Taker be able to compete in one last epic WrestleMania match against John Cena, because if anyone is going to beat the Streak, it'll be Cena. If he does, though, I'm a wee bit unsure about. I'd like to see him do it. I think the Streak will never end, unfortunately, but Cena versus Taker as the main event at WrestleMania would steal the show. Everybody wants to see it. Cena haters can say all they want that Cena will get Cena this, Cena that. Cena versus Taker is the biggest thing WWE could do. They're two biggest superstars. Put them on one, main event at WrestleMania. Let them come out last. Let everybody think the Streak's coming to an end, and just let them tear the house down. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 9 matches at WrestleMania. Now, I'm trying to I think 2002 or maybe 2001 had 11 matches at WrestleMania. 9 matches are pretty big. Hopefully they'll be able to pull it off. Could possibly see a 10th match involving the Core and the Nexus. Maybe it'll be a pre-show match or something, and also a match with Vladimir Kozlov and Santino, because Santino's so over. He might get a match on WrestleMania, maybe versus Justin Gabriel and Heath Slater. They seem to be doing a little something with them. I don't know, but that's my predictions for WrestleMania. 9 matches with Cena versus Undertaker as the main event. So let me know what you think. Alright, bye bye now. See you later.